I posted a video yesterday talking about how I have decided I no longer want to be in relationships. And honestly, if you've been watching my YouTube channel for an extended amount of time, you will know why. I've chose celibacy for most of my adult life, and then I decided to do a handful of relationships. I also was in a polyamorous relationship. So I've just decided that at the age of 40, it's just not something I want to do anymore. I've decided that I'm celibate, right? So this time I'm going to stick to that. I'm not going to let some man come along and talk me out of doing it. He's not going to be able to come around and feed me with some bullshit about marriage and kids and how he want to be a good man for me and all of that nonsense. Okay? I'm sticking to my celibacy, and I'm not deciding to be celibate so it could lure in a man. It has more to do with who I am as a person and how I feel about relationships and marriage in general. I do not support legal marriage. Spiritual marriage is all right with me. The average person does not know what spiritual marriage is because the average person does not have the same belief system I do. Speaking of people who do not have a belief system, most of the men who have contacted me about Kevin Samuels do not. Because anyone who has any faith in a power higher than their own would never direct me to Kevin Samuels. A low energy male is the reason why I stumbled upon Kevin Samuels to begin with. Someone talked to me about this dude 4 years ago. This year, when one of his clips went on to World Star Hip Hop, then he became what he is today, and someone else started mentioning him to me. And then over and over and over, one low energy male after another began to mention this man to me. So I decided to do a live stream about him. If you haven't seen it, here it is. Since then, I have expressed my opinion about this man so many times, and my biggest concern about this man is the superficial message that he sends to men. He tells men what they want to hear. So the reason why so many low energy men keep directing this man to me is because these men want women to no longer value themselves or to be confident in themselves. Now, the reasoning behind that could be a number of things. I am not going to go into detail, but a lot of the men that come to my channel, they aren't here to listen, to understand. They want to come here and try to debunk anything that I say or try to make me out to be whatever Kevin Samuels describes. This is what I want people to understand about Kevin Samuels.
What's going on, people? This video is a caution to the online personality called Kevin Samuels. Through giving relationship advice, Kevin has racked up a lot of followers and hits through mixing entertainment with hard truths. Caution number one, via his LinkedIn, all of his past experiences in sales. He has no background in marriage counseling, relationship therapy, psychology, sociology, ministry, nothing. Caution number two, he has a weird mix of pseudoscience and love, which actually displays anti-black sentiments. This Instagram post displays celebrity women who are classed as a 10. Do you notice anything? They're all light-skinned. Caution number three, the proof is not in the pudding. He's been married twice, he's currently not married, and he's quite mum about details of his personal life. Caution number four, nowhere online are you going to find any other race degrading their women of the same race as much as we do in the black community. We must take this Malcolm X energy and protect our women, not profit off their vulnerability. My last caution, which is the psalm, seek not counsel, but seek wise counsel from seasoned saints. Do not cast your pearls to swine, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There is someone out there for everybody.
Now, it's one thing for this man to have studied psychology all his life or sociology, or maybe he's had some type of training. But this man consistently talks about how people who went and got their education or went and got their training are average people. I saw him telling a guy that got his degree in information technology that he was still average, like that's a dime a dozen to do. And I'm like, well, if getting a degree in information technology was so easy, more low energy men would be doing it. It's important that men stop following poisonous sources. You have to try to figure out what is fueling this man. If it isn't God, it isn't education. Apparently it isn't morals and values, because this man has been divorced twice. He doesn't take care of his children. He has a criminal record. I can go on and on and on and list all of the negative things about Kevin Samuels, but these things will still be things that men continuously overlook. When someone put in my comment section yesterday that I should go to Kevin Samuels for relationship advice, I was like, why in the world would any woman consider going to this man, asking him for relationship advice after they've seen how he does women? He doesn't respect womanhood. He doesn't respect his own race. He doesn't have any training. He doesn't have any faith in a higher power. He doesn't believe in education. Why would it be smart for me as a woman to go to this man and ask him for relationship advice when he has no wisdom whatsoever? See, you guys call him the Godfather. I call him Father Time, because with time he's become bitter, old, rude, and impatient. And honestly, he doesn't have a masculine trait whatsoever. I mean, everything he does is hella feminine. He's like the feminine auntie. And anytime I say this to men, y'all defend him. And it leads me to believe that most of you are actually homosexual. That's why you find him so appealing, because you don't like women. He doesn't like women. Shit, from what I'm seeing, he barely like men. He talk to y'all like y'all ain't nothing too. So what I don't understand is, if you value Kevin Samuels so much, why do you only listen to him when he is speaking negatively about women, but you don't necessarily take his advice when it's time for him to, assess you and what's happening in your life? See, most of you men don't want to change. You don't want to improve. You just want to hear all of the negative traits that's inside of women so it can justify all of the poor choices in women that you have made. I've said to men plenty of times, there are good women and there are bad women. You get to decide what kind of woman you want to choose. And after you choose what kind of woman you want, and you get played by this woman, it doesn't mean that after she played you, it means be an ain't shit nigga after that. If anything, you're supposed to improve who you are as a man, and then when you choose a better woman, she gets the best version of you. But instead of you guys doing that, you want to go your own way, or you want to not deal with women at all, you want to play women or something crazy like that. Why would you let a bum bitch control you and change who you are, change your whole course of life after you dealt with her? Why would you do that? She's not worth all of that. What you should be doing is trying to become a better man for the next woman. And hopefully, if you learn your valuable lesson, you will be able to have a better selection process and choose a better woman than you did before. But to let a bum bitch that you chose, that played you, mess around with the course of your life to where now you want to treat women bad, that's just ass backwards. That's bitter. And y'all learning that from Kevin Samuels. I heard this man say to a woman that women need men, and without men we wouldn't be able to function, right? But he said men don't need women, because without women the only thing that we couldn't do is reproduce. Yeah, and it will be the end of men as you know it. And it's the same thing with women. If women were to get rid of men altogether, it would be the end of women as you know it. It's the same thing with men. If you can't reproduce, then y'all gender is done. It's the same thing. So what I don't understand is, why do you guys support a man who is so divisive? He's dividing men and women. He's not encouraging unity. He's encouraging men to be more distant from women, or to feel like they are more than women. And honestly, it's plenty of women out here doing that when they push this hypergamy message. I keep telling women all the time, just because you put yourself on a pedestal doesn't mean you have to treat a man like a peasant in the process. Just be you. There are plenty other relationship experts that I can talk to as far as relationship advice goes. I've been to therapy, I've been to counseling, so I've spoken to people about my relationships. At the end of the day, after speaking to a licensed professional, a certified person, a person who's been in the training, it's like easy for me to say, hey, I done figured out something about myself, and I just do not feel comfortable in the traditional way of doing things as far as relationships and marriages go. It's nothing against men, really. It's just that's a personal choice I made for me. You understand? So that's the difference between a lot of other men who are taking this advice from Kevin Samuels, who isn't trained, who isn't licensed, who isn't any of this. He just basically teaches you how to be a part of the pimp game where you just disrespecting women, for entertainment purposes and monetary gain. is the man that y'all listen to. This is who you want to give you relationship advice. This is who you trust. And I'm not sure why, because he's making your situation worse with women. It's pseudo advice. It's like two truths and a lie. You feel what I'm saying? It's like half of what he's saying makes sense, but then once he pours the muddy stuff on top, it's like, oh, you're a narcissist. You're egotistical. You're misogynist. You're sexist. Your old thought process comes from patriarchy and capitalism, something that has to do with people who aren't black. As a man, you have to be careful about who you follow. You guys are so quick to follow just about anybody, and then you consider yourself alpha. Alphas do not follow, alphas lead. So if you are being led by a beta, and you're actually following behind this beta, you're running in a pack of betas. You're still doing beta male stuff. And don't get me started on the definition that you betas give alpha. You betas want to be alpha so bad. This detrimental behavior, this negative behavior that you have towards women that you believe is actual healthy masculinity when it isn't. It's toxic, it's violent, it's negative, it's low energy, it's all of that. But you call that stuff being alpha when it isn't. I know who to go to for advice. Most likely it'll be God. But if I need another human being to give me some wisdom, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be somebody who's licensed. It's going to be somebody who's certified. It's going to be someone who has experience and has a healthy lifestyle themselves. It will not be someone like Kevin Samuels. And it's unfortunate that so many of you keep trying to refer women to this man. It's like you are already hurting women across the board. So in order to hurt them some more, you're going to put them in the direction of this man who classifies himself as a leader. You're going to follow behind him and let him put all of this poison into these women. It's unfortunate. It's just like any other cult leader. Y'all are really a bunch of cult members. And I'm not saying y'all cult members because I don't like the movement that y'all have. Whatever type of movement you believe in, if it works for you, then it works for you. But from what I'm seeing from all angles, this is poisonous what y'all doing. It's not going to help you in the end. Please stop trying to refer me to this dude. Because I already done pegged who this dude is. He's an image consultant. He is not somebody that y'all need to be following behind. And that's the problem with a lot of black men. You follow behind the poisonous sources. And then you wonder why our community is in need of repair.
A lot of you are quoting Kevin Samuels about high quality men completely incorrectly. Value is a mathematical output of supply and demand. When the market is oversaturated with anything, that thing is automatically low value. Kevin Samuels is talking about high value men. He's not talking about most of you. He's talking about the exceptional few elite. The average person isn't qualified for $1 billion home, but if you're a rinky-dink RV, you have no business quoting those statistics. The issue with measuring a person by value instead of by quality is that quality measures the heart and character, whereas value measures superficial things like what your job is or if you have children. It's usually the quote-unquote high-value men who cheat on you and play you for a fool because as a hot commodity, they drag in a bunch of female consumers and they don't have the integrity or the character to remain faithful. I stopped getting frustrated with Kevin Samuels as soon as I realized he doesn't have a single unique thought going through his low-capacity brain. All he's doing is regurgitating what white supremacy and capitalism taught him. Most people in the world these days would rather be successfully superficial than be ordinary and have substance. Y'all can keep high-value men. I'll take...
You know, people are always asking me what I think about Kevin Samuels. And my answer is not a damn thing. Just like how you shouldn't think much of him either. How can you actually listen to a man who actually places a woman's value or a man's value based on the physical things in life? Especially when human beings are about less than 10% physical. Humans are about 90% spiritual. Yet he rates you on your height, your size, your amount of kids. Can a man give birth? No. Giving birth is what God does. That's the power of God. A woman has it. Yet he take away your value based on that. How stupid is that? And why you are giving this man so much power anyways about his opinion? Even when you look at art, usually the value of a piece of art changes by the creator of the art, the artist, right? Well, look at who created you. God created you. How can your value be physical? Don't you know that we are spiritual beings on a physical journey? give the diamond too much power, man.